Hey there Nocturnes! Welcome back to English Me dito sa Nocturnal Siege, a guide for those left in the dark. Ako nga pala ulit, si Kuya N, ang inyong class president. Noong nakaraang meeting with Sir Jeremy, diniscuss niya ang tungkol sa unang critical approach, yung cultural approach. Nakafocus yan sa pananamit, kagamitan, pagkain, at iba pa. Ngayong gabi naman, pangalawang approach na tayo. Ito naman ay tungkol sa forma o ayos ng text. So, puro literary text tayo tonight. Ang tawag kasi doon ay the formalistic approach. Ano nga ba ito? Nakahati yan sa tatlong uri. Meron tayong formalistic approach para sa pagkikritik ng short story o long story, basta fiction. Basta kwento yon, kwento. Pangalawa ay ang poems o tula. And then third, meron tayong essay. Dahil may kanya-kanyang anyo ang mga nabanggit ko ngayon, tuturuan tayo ni Sir Jeremy kung paano natin i-critique yung mga ganong klaseng literary works. Especially, nasa college meron tayo Introduction to Literature. Hindi ko lang sure kung sa curriculum ngayon ay ipagtitake kayo noon dahil nga meron na kayong 21st century literature. I'm not sure kung meron pa kayong susunod na literature course na kailangan kunin. Pero kung yung kukunin nyo na degree program sa college ay yung malapit sa Humes, expect na pwede kayong paggawa ng reaction paper or critical study tungkol sa isang, let's say, nobela o anumang literary work. So, samahan nyo na ako sa ating klase ngayon para malaman natin kung paano gamitin ang formalistic approach. Oh, English me, oh, English me, gusto kong matuto ng Ingles pero hindi alam kung paano.
Welcome back, class. For tonight, we shall focus on the second approach, the formalistic approach. Form in this lecture will be divided into three parts. For tonight, we'll deal with the first form, fiction. Okay, in analyzing fiction, meaning short story or novel, or it can be a poem that tells a coherent story. Okay, same structure as a short story but told in poetic form. The example of such is the epic. So how do we write about that? Okay, when we say formalistic approach, we focus on the form itself. So the first form that we're studying is fiction. Okay, the first element that we should know and remember is setting. When and where did the story happen? This is just a review. That's why I need not write down the definitions because I know for sure that you encountered them in your literature classes in junior high. Aside from setting, we have the characters who are involved in the story. Plot, we have certain elements of plot. The exposition, the rising action, climax, falling action, and denouement or resolution. I hope you remember what each element stands for. The theme, the main teaching of the text, the moral of the story, the lesson. Point of view, is it told by one of the characters? Is the story told directly to the viewer? Or is it told by another spectator? So that's why we have the first, second, and third persons. Irony, aside from it being a figure of speech, it is also an essential element of any story. And irony could be verbal, limited to an understatement or overstatement if something is said as if it's to, let's say, a statement that underrates a certain condition or exaggerates it a bit. But take note that it's different from hyperbole in that hyperbole, it's a conscious exaggeration, whereas in verbal irony, it can be unconscious. Where in irony, the exaggeration or understating is quite subtle. It's not that noticeable compared to hyperbole. Another type of irony is situational irony, where something unexpected happens. You get surprised, both audience and character. And dramatic irony is the type in which something is happening that the audience knows, but the characters or only some of the characters don't know. And then lastly, we have the conflict, which two opposing forces are battling each other. That's the conflict. Let's apply what we have learned by critiquing Hamlet by William Shakespeare. This is an advantage to those who have not yet read the play or seen it, because we're now critiquing it using the formalistic approach. Let's start with the setting. So it happened in Denmark, 16th century. The characters include Hamlet, Gertrude, Claudius, and a few others. Actually, many others, but I did not bother to name them all here because of the space and time constraints. Plot, thus, this is just a central plot, okay? If you want to make a detailed one, you could include as your homework, read up Hamlet. You may include the exposition, the rising action, climax, etc. But the story really revolves around Hamlet, who tries to get his revenge on Claudius for allegedly killing his father. The themes revolve around revenge and incest. Hamlet's mother, Gertrude, married Hamlet's uncle, Claudius. That's the incest there. Point of view, it changes depending on who's speaking. It's a play, so there's no narrator. That's why there's no fixed point of view. The point of view would be whoever is speaking at a certain moment. Conflict, it's Hamlet versus himself. He's battling his vindictive emotions. He wants to kill Claudius, but despite the certain number of opportunities that he's had in the story, he still does not take the opportunity until the last moment in the ending. I don't want to give some spoilers, but that is the part where we see the outcome of his vengeance. But before that part, he really has a lot of chances, window R's, so to speak, to kill Claudius, but he doesn't. So maybe that's a manifestation of him battling himself, his conscience versus his evil conscience. Yeah, you may also put it that way, you may express it that way. The good versus the bad conscience. And then the irony in the story is dramatic because the audience knows that Hamlet is merely pretending to be crazy, but the other characters are not aware that he's just hiding his vengeful feelings against Claudius. And there you have it. That's how we analyze fiction using the critical approach. In the next episode, we're going to focus on poems. So continue surviving in the dark.
Oh English me, oh English me, gusto kong matuto ng Ingles pero hindi alam kung paano. Sino ang magtuturo? Gusto kong matuto na talaga. Oh English me. Word of the night. Prudent. Adjective. Ang first three na makakapag-comment sa baba ng meaning at ng kanyang original sentence ay magkakaroon ng special mention sa susunod na episode. Kaya ano pa hinihintay nyo, Nocturnes? Mag-comment na kayo sa baba bago mag-Friday para masama naman sa editing ng inyong posts. Kung nagustuhan ninyo ang episode na ito, i-like nyo lang. Kung may mga suggestions o questions, mag-comment na lang din. Saka, i-share nyo naman ang video na to o mas maganda yung buong playlist sa mga kakilala ninyong nagtitake ng AAP this semester or next semester para sa mga senior high nyong friends. Kasi alam nyo naman na sa panahon ngayon, mahirap nang makakuha ng reliable sources at kasama na doon ang Nocturnal Sage. Kung naniniwala kayo reliable, ito, mag-join din kayo sa ating private Facebook group, yung Nocturne Space. Yung link nasa baba kung nahihiya kayong mag-suggest ng topics sa comment section kasi naka-public. At least doon, private space siya, makakahanap ka ng mga kagaya mong mag-isip. At higit sa lahat, mag-subscribe din kayo at itap yung notification bell para hindi kayo mahuli sa mga susunod naming updates. New episodes every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Ang Nocturnal Sage ay nakatuon sa 4 na larangan. Una ay is self-conquest. Bibigyan ka namin ng tips kung paano i-process ang mga negative emotions kagaya ng sadness, anger, etc. Pero disclaimer, wala kaming medical prescriptions na ibibigay, hindi naman kami licensed psychiatrist. Pero tutulungan namin kayo kung paano i-process ng pansarili yung mga nararamdaman yung emosyon. Pangalawa ay komunikasyon or communication. Ito ay kaya nga may English me. Isa lamang yung English me sa mga pwede i-discuss sa larangan ng communication. Pero pwede rin to tungkol sa pagde-develop ng self-confidence. Kung nahihiya ka makipag-usap sa maramihang mga tao, at least meron kang mapupuntahan para sa mga tips sa kung paano i-overcome yung pagkahiya, mga ganun. Or simple kung pwede rin nakatuon sa mga particular na communicative situations. Kung kuwari, nag-iisip ka kung ano yung dapat sabihin sa isang particular na sitwasyon, mga ganun. Pangatlo ay leadership. Kung bago kang halal na student council officer, o kung bago kang promote sa trabaho, gusto mo malaman kung paano humawak ng mga tao, mas lalo na mahirap kausap, ay tamang-tama na pumunta ka sa Nocturnal Sage kasi forte din ni Sir Jeremy ang leadership and management. And lastly, we have expansion. Kung naghahanap ka ng mga paraan kung paano lumawak, in every sense of the word, at saka kung hindi mo na kukuha yung ganong paglago sa pagkakaroon ng mataas na sweldo, siguro hindi lang sa pera nakatuon dapat ang pansin pagdating sa expansion. Kasi pag expansion, dapat pinapahalagahan din natin ang paglawak ng ating skill set. So kung naghahanap ka ng let's say ng mga tamang combination ng skill set para matamo yung career growth na inaasahan mo, tamang-tama na pumunta ka sa Nocturnal Sage. Salamat muli sa panonood. Ako si Kuya N. Kita-kits sa susunod na episode ng English Me dito sa Nocturnal Sage, a guide for those left in the dark.